overall, as a piece of television or drama, whatever it is, what do you feel Fringe's greatest accomplishment is?
I don't think that the whole world knows this. I think Fringe's greatest accomplishment is the fact that it is a sci-fi show that's not really a sci-fi show. I think that's the world that it's based in, but it's just about people who love each other and want to be happy and satisfied. It's like, every romantic comedy or soap opera or, 90210 show in the world, but it happens to be in this world of sci-fi, and I feel like a lot of people, think, oh, I'm not into sci-fi, so I'm not going to watch that, and I just think that they would be so shocked if they watched our show to see how well we've been able to integrate, these, kind of overwhelming things about technology and corporations and medicine and how that's affecting our lives, and also how it affects our lives, like these people, these very real people who have these intimate relationships with each other. And I know that there are other sci-fi shows that have done that too. But I can't think of any that have been on network TV. It's like such a perfect setup for new people who don't really watch sci-fi shows to be involved, and they've totally missed out. It's like the best kept secret in the world. It's Claire.
And how does it feel to see the end in sight?
Awesome. It feels so good. I think that we're all excited for what opportunities are going to come after Fringe, and hopefully we will all be fortunate enough to keep working on really great shows, but at the same time we recognize the enormity of knowing that you get to finish telling your story, and nobody has to keep fighting, and nobody has to come back to work on Monday and wait to find out like what the numbers were for Friday night. You don't have to do that anymore. So it feels like this is going to be the easiest thing ever. Like all we get to do is have fun, and we get to tell a really good story, because that's the priority. It's not, like I said, it's not about numbers, it's not about money anymore. They took all our money away. So it's just us and like a stage and a bunch of bald guys, and we're going to tell the best story that we possibly can tell. And it's so funny because we all the actors at different points have kind of gone on roller coasters, with their relationship with the show. I felt like I didn't have very much to do for a lot of the time, and Anna, was exhausted a lot of the time and felt like she was doing too much, and just lots of different experiences. But to come at the end of it and really realize that everybody's heart is in it and everybody has learned so much and enjoyed working with each other is such a special thing to share with a cast that you've been with for 18 hours a day for 5 years. It's just crazy. It's longer than college. Yeah. No judgment if it was not longer.
Now that you know that Walter actually knows what your name is, and he still continues to call you something else every week, why do you think that is? From your character's perspective, I guess?
He knows her name, and she knows he knows her name. I think it started in season 2, and it might have been season 1, I remember, but pretty early on he said her name like one time. And then it took 8 episodes, and then he would say her name. And he would do it periodically, and it was clear that he knows her name. I think that he is intent on saying her name wrong just to mess with her, but sometimes he forgets, like when shit gets real, and he's like, oh, we are really on to something, Astrid, and he's probably like, damn it, I had the perfect nickname and I totally forgot what it was. That's what, I think that that's his way of showing affection for her. I don't think that he is comfortable, given his history with his son, in being able to communicate love very easily, and that's why he does weird things like bakes, cakes in the middle of the night and tries to stuff candy down your throat. That's the only way that he knows how to show that love. And I think with Astrid, it's with calling her pet names, which is why I'm over the pet names. It's been
Claire, right?
Yeah. Well, Claire is a great one, but in the next episode, so one time we were in rehearsal, and we were just kind of like doing lines off the top of our head, and he didn't have a script, and he knew he was supposed to call me a nickname, and he just said Afro. He just blurted it out, and then everybody laughed, and I laughed, and then he came up to me afterwards and he said, "Is that politically correct?" And I said, "That's not a bad word. I appreciate your Australian sensibility. You don't know, and I'm telling you that Afro is not like the A word or anything." And so in this next script, he calls her Afro, so it's like full circle right there. Yeah, exactly. I don't want you to have high expectations, because I don't. Which is not to say that it's a disappointing thing, because it's our last season and we only have 13 episodes, and I don't imagine that her storyline will be priority. But what I do hope, if anything, does happen with her storyline, I just want there to be some closure with what happened to her dad. I don't know if, because the 5th season is going to take place in the future, in 2036, but she was ambered kind of like a last minute decision. So I don't think she said, "Dad, I don't know if I'm coming back." And I'm pretty sure that her dad isn't, around in 2036. So I'm hoping that there's some kind of attention paid to because that's the first time you ever see her dad. It's the first time you see anybody in her family that she cares about. And so I think it would be a big oversight to just leave that blank. And I want at least just to see her going through some kind of, emotional discourse about, what about my dad? He's not around anymore. And that's so pivotal, because when she meets the other Astrid, she finds out that her other dad had died. So I'm sure that that's in her head, like what happens to your family, what happens to you when they're not around anymore. So I hope for Astrid's story that is the question that's answered for her.
So going into Fringe, before you even started, what were your expectations, and what expectations did you never have that just sort of blew you away?
Expectation, don't get killed, happened. Expectation I didn't have. The biggest mind-blowing thing that I did actually wasn't the doppelganger stuff, but was the singing. I had no idea that we were gonna go there, and especially in this world. And I think that it worked out surprisingly well. Like it made sense that it wasn't so over the top and outlandish, but that was really surprising. And they did not have me singing in it, and you guys, I have a musical theater background. And so I wrote and I said, I have a musical theater background. I hope that you didn't forget that. And so then they wrote it in, which was really, really awesome.
So spin-off of choice, Farnsworth P.I. or Brown Betty, the Broadway musical?
Oh, Farnsworth P.I.
All right, yeah. Thanks, guys.